Welcome back to the shop and to the channel. If you're a regular viewer of the channel, you may have seen an odds and end video that I did a little while back in which a kind viewer donated this coolant pump to the cause, which is to provide some coolant for my Sanford surface grinder. This is a 3-phase import coolant pump, and before I just start plugging 3-phase power into it, I think what I would like to do is just to take it apart, just to make sure that the bearings are in decent shape. I'm not going to swap them out or anything. I'm just going to determine if they're okay, great, we'll keep going, and if they're junk, kind of price them out and see if I want to continue with this one or not, or try to find something different. I'd like to get this one working though, since it was donated to the channel. This doesn't look like it'll be overly difficult to take apart. There's a couple of screws here that hold on the motor housing cover, I guess. So it looks like the motor shaft itself is the rotor. It's all integral. I was half expecting to see, some kind of like a Lovejoy connector inside here, but looks like the rotor is the shaft. The bearings seem like they're in decent shape, but let's see what's underneath this bottom cover. A few screws that hold that cover on, and all it's really doing is protecting the impeller that's on the end of the motor shaft. It looks like it is held on with some kind of a screw, but there's so much gunk covering it here. I need to clean it off to figure out what I need to do to remove the impeller. All that gunk removed. It's just a Phillips head screw here holding the impeller onto the end of the shaft. Unless I miss my guess here, I think the only thing that's holding the shaft in is just the press fit of the other bearing on the end of the motor shaft. So I'm thinking here I can just use a dead blow or, maybe a brass drift or something here and drive out the motor shaft from the top of the enclosure. Well, there's a plastic shield here that goes over the lower part of the shaft, and then it can come out. The bearings feel like they're fine. I see no reason to mess with them. I'm surprised they're in good shape because there's a little bit of rust on the rotor. But really, that's kind of it. There's really not a whole lot to this thing. A lot less than I was expecting. So at this point, what I want to do is just get all this cleaned up. I'm not going to paint it or do any of that just yet. I'm going to put it back together and see if we can't get it running. I took all the parts over to the parts washer, got them all cleaned up as best I could. Didn't really spend a ton of time with them. I did spend a little time with the motor shaft on the lathe just to clean up the shaft and the rotor here with a little bit of emery cloth. And so now it's just a matter of reinstalling that seal, and we'll get the bearing remounted. This is probably not the right way to press fit a bearing into a housing here, but it's what I have to work with. I'm not overly concerned about it. These bearings are pretty tough. They can handle just a little bit of abuse. Well, there's a washer that goes over the end of the shaft, and I can put the impeller back on. It only goes in one way, as long as you don't put it in upside down, and then reinstall that screw to hold it in place. I can put this cover now back on and need to make sure that this is oriented correctly. There's a recess in the bottom there that needs to be fitted underneath that hole that's in one of the supports there. That's essentially the ejection pipe. As the impeller turns, it's forcing the coolant up through that side support and then out the outlet of the pump. And if this is not in the right spot, it won't work. I can now reinstall the other half of the motor, the stator, over the top here. I didn't clean this. I actually forgot to, and I kind of wish I would have, because I screwed up right here, and I'm hammering on the top of it and didn't realize that this little plug at the top was a piece of clear plastic. I presume so you can see that the pump is turning in the correct direction, and I just cracked the crap out of it. So I'm sure I could probably find a replacement for it somewhere, but I'll have to spend a little time looking for one, because that was a bit of a dumb mistake. I'll tighten these screws on either side. Of course, they get these things so close to the housing that you can't put a socket on it or even a ratcheting box end wrench. So it takes a little bit of time here, a little bit inconvenient, but it'll help pull the two halves of the motor housing together and seal them up and keep it watertight. Well, everything's back together, so the last thing I need to do here is to test the motor itself. So I'll take this cover plate off of the terminals, and I'll find some new wire. We'll get this wired up to a switch. We can test it out. With this cover plate off now, we can see there's just the 3 ring terminals, and there's a 4th one underneath for the ground. I have this fairly simple 3-phase power switch. I bought it a long time ago for something, and I don't even remember what it was, but I didn't end up using it. So this was just in the electrical bin here. It just got 3 terminals on either end of the switch. I'll have to get creative with the ground. I don't think I'm going to use this one for the final application, because I really don't like this switch very much. I would like something it's got a little bit more room to work in, but we'll get these terminals wired up and hopefully test this motor and not let the magic smoke out. And this is the reason why I really don't like this switch. I ended up making the ground wire going to the plug too short, and all I wanted to do was kind of twist this together just to just to see if it's going to work. And, I'm not real comfortable with how this is going to work. So I think what I'm going to do is cut back the insulation, the outer insulation of the cable that's on the side of the plug, and make those connections just a little bit longer. And it might be a little bit easier for me to connect those together, the grounds together. Yeah, but those wires a little bit longer, a little easier for me to connect that ground. I will wrap this in some electrical tape here. I'm not a complete idiot, but I really do hate this, and this is just going to be for this test. So I'm not overly concerned about this. It's not going to be a long-term solution. It's just for testing out this motor, and then that'll be it. We'll find a different use for this switch, and I'll find something that's a little bit better. Next is to remove the old wires that are connected to the motor itself. Since these are screw terminals on the motor itself, I'll use some ring terminals just to make this a little bit less janky than what's going on inside the switch. And since this thing is going to be submerged in, or at least part of it's going to be submerged in a liquid, I do want to make sure that I use the ground properly just to help prevent any potential shock hazards. The order of these three wires doesn't matter. It only matters when it comes to the direction of the pump. And if I find that the pump is turned in the wrong way, it's just a matter of swapping two of these wires. Button this up here, get the cover plate reinstalled, and we'll dry test it real quick just to make sure that it's going to turn, and then figure out what we need to do to test it with some kind of liquid. I have this plugged into the three-phase power, and you might be able to hear the rotary phase converter running in the background. So we'll flick the switch here real quick. Yeah, it's working. It sounds really quiet too. I'm really pleased with how quiet this motor is. So I think the next thing to do is to try it out with some kind of fluid, maybe a bucket of water. I don't want to be spraying coolant all over the shop here, so I'll put this elbow in. This was attached to it. I think these threads are a little bit munched up, but that's okay. They'll work. And just kind of aim it so it goes straight down. So water comes up, water goes down. Like an old 5-gallon bucket here with a little bit of water in it. I'll set it down inside the water and turn it on, see what it does. Oh, it's working. It's working really good too. That's cool. I'm wondering if I shouldn't run some solvent through this, maybe clean out the inner guts of this. I don't know if it's a good idea or not. I'll have to think about that. But now I got to figure out how I'm going to get it actually working with the surface grinder. I have to assume that a previous owner of this thing was certainly using coolant on it. You can see here on the left side of the table there is a hole, and it is threaded for 1/2 inch NPT. So I have to assume that that was for a coolant return. I'm thinking here too, I might be able to mount a switch for the coolant pump here on the side of the surface grinder, maybe even on the base. But what I really want to do is see if I can't figure out if I can make a coolant tank, a sump that would fit inside the base of the surface grinder, so it wouldn't have to be, sitting next to it, that it might fit down inside this cavity that you can get to from the back. I need to take some measurements here of this opening just to see how big it is. Also the size of the base itself, and see if I can't calculate how big of a tank could I make that I could kind of sneak its way down in here underneath the surface grinder so it would be out of the way. Might need to spend a little bit of time in CAD to figure that out. Of course, any tank that I build has to be deep enough so that the pump itself will fit down in there, and that I'll be able to get the whole coolant pump down in underneath the surface grinder. Take some more measurements here and see what I can come up with. But that's probably going to take me a little while to figure out the geometry for that, so that's going to have to wait for another video, I think. I appreciate you watching. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you're not a subscriber. Special thank you to those that support the channel on PayPal and Patreon. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.